It's time for Arts This Week, your download of the latest arts and culture events in and around Boston. After a very long spa treatment, the Huntington Theater has just reopened. The nearly 100-year-old theater spent the pandemic downtime undergoing a massive renovation and restoration. A 20-month, $58 million project that saw the theater completely overhauled, new plush seats with more legroom, historic fixtures completely refurbished. And the theater's dome is finally painted gold, something its original designers intended, but couldn't do after they ran out of money. Theatergoers will now also find an entirely new gallery space, currently featuring the work of Boston artist Aqua Holmes. The Huntington first opened in 1925 and was celebrated for being the nation's first civic playhouse, because it launched as the only not-for-profit theater in the country. The effort gained national attention. The builder was actor and impresario Henry Jewett, who wanted the theater situated away from Boston's theater district and closer to the city's cultural beacons, Symphony Hall and the Museum of Fine Arts. The theater opens with a production of the late playwright August Wilson's drama Joe Turner's Come and Gone. The Pulitzer Prize winner considered the Huntington his theatrical home, and the lobby is now named in his honor. The power of photography is that sometimes it can be so potent it shapes our memories of shared history. How we recall the immeasurable intensity of D-Day, then what the euphoria of the war's end must have felt like, an out-of-this-world measure of the moon. Life magazine was the purveyor of a great many of these images. In its heyday, it reached 25% of U.S. households. The Museum of Fine Arts Boston looks at the legacy of life in its latest exhibition. The magazine published from 1936 to 1972 and was well aware of the role photographs had in society, documenting it, reflecting it, and in the case of the Holocaust and the Civil Rights Movement, changing it. With unprecedented access to the Life picture collection and archives, the curators take us inside the editorial process. How photographs were selected, edited, and arranged. The pioneers, women, and people of color who were brought into the fold. But it's also done with an acknowledgement that Life was aimed at a white, middle-class audience, so that as much as the magazine aimed to cover a cross-section of American culture, it wasn't the whole picture. Boston's Institute of Contemporary Art has assembled a groundbreaking show, the first ever exhibition in the U.S. to consider childhood, how artists treat it, how they've been inspired by it, the place children's books have in opening up the world. Think about the story of Paul Klee. He was an early 20th century German artist who spent years studying art. But after he found a parcel of his childhood art, work he made when he was just 5 years old, he decided that should chart his artistic trajectory, and it did. We also find epic tenderness in a painting by Jordan Castile. It's a moment she found on the subway of a child seemingly forever bonded to their father. A moment that upends so many false and negative notions of black masculinity and fatherhood. There's the work of artist Aqua Holmes, who renders real-world strife, struggle, and resiliency in her artwork for children. The show is titled To Begin Again, because for better and for worse, our adult lives are lived and remembered in the context of who we were and how we came to be. At the ICA, artists show us the way back and forward. I'm not sure I've ever wanted to snuggle with marble before, but that's what a new series of sculptures in Boston's Central Wharf Park invite. Presented by the Public Art Group Now and There, the installation is called 5 Marble Leaves, created by Swiss artist Claudia Comte. She's someone long attuned to nature and environment, so these sculptures are inspired by the oak trees and their fallen leaves that populate the park. They're like joyous, huggable creatures, swaying, stretching, and reclining. Finely polished, they invite caressing. They're just a delight to behold, and they up the ante for the increasingly popular Japanese-inspired practice of forest bathing. Here's my pick for what to catch next week. 2 words, Mikhail Baryshnikov. The legend is on stage at Arts Emerson starring in The Orchard, a new cultivation of Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard. That's it for your Arts and Culture Download. I'll see you here and at The Orchard next week.